And if the other team will present themselves as well, we're going to talk about all things academic engagement.
I'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anita Sparrow, and I'm the Director of Registration and Academic History.
Hi, all. My name is Steve Mendez. I'm the Director of Online Student, Faculty, and Advisor Services.
Steve McDowell, I'm the Associate Vice President for Financial Aid Services and Title IV Compliance.
Lourdes Cruz, Interim Executive Director of Student Information Services.
And I'm part of Anita's team. I'm the registration specialist, and I'll be going over the PowerPoint for today. I just wanted to go quickly over the agenda that we have. First of all, we're going to review the importance of reporting academic engagement. Why is it important? What exactly academic engagement is, provide a few examples for everyone. What doesn't constitute, academic engagement, and also give you examples of ones that do not constitute engagement. An academic engagement step-by-step timeline. My colleague Steve Mendez is going to go over the step-by-step process in TEST. We're going to go over and review a scenario about academic engagement and give everyone a chance afterwards to ask any questions, and the team will assist in answering them. And reinstatement process. So once a student is dropped, we're going to go over how to reinstate the student. Again, we're going to go over the actual dates for fall semester, and the timeline. And just to remind everyone, we will be sharing the PowerPoint after this presentation with you all. And an also reminder, the important deadlines are posted on this PowerPoint, but you can access the important deadlines on your faculty card when you log into MyCT State under important deadlines. So let's begin. So why is academic engagement reporting important? As you all know, and I'm going to have Steve talk a little bit more about this, we have to stay compliant for Title IV, which is to be eligible to receive and participate in federal financial aid programs in Connecticut State. So we have to validate students' academic engagement in each class. We aren't an attendance taking institution, and that differs. It's pretty much being engaged in the course, and not just one course, in every course they're registered for. And if Steve could explain the financial implications on this for us to have a better understanding as to why this is important, that'd be great.
Great, thank you. So in essence, it is a federal requirement for us to identify whether a student has demonstrated engagement in a course. And that's primarily for the purpose of identifying whether or not they're entitled to earn their Pell Grant, for example, or even extended out to their federal loans and their institutional aid and their free college program award. So if we aren't able to essentially identify that a student was here, that they demonstrated attendance, they technically aren't eligible for those funds. So this is a means for us to identify that a student has engaged, is the word that we're using, but that they actually showed up for the course. So if we don't do that, if we don't have any notation that says that the student was here, we have to assume that they were not here. And if we assume that they're not here, that means that they will not be paid their financial aid. And so when we will then hear about it when they don't have their aid dispersed. And if we could just make certain that all the faculty are assigning the either NP or the H's to make sure that the students are here or not, that helps us to identify whether the student can have their aid dispersed to their account.
Thank you, Steve. And we have to put in the either attending or not attending prior to census date. This semester census date falls on September 18th. So all this has to be done before then. The student engagement deadline for the traditional first part of term, which is the main one, is September 11th. And these timelines will be posted in the back, but faculty reporting window, you have 2 days after, so between September 11th and September 13th. you have to report. Okay, so these are examples of what constitutes academic engagement. For a physical class that meets on ground, physically attending the class where the student has the opportunity to interact with the instructor and the students on course material is counted as academic engagement. Also is submitting an assignment. It gets a little more complicated when their classes are online, but then again, that's the submittal of assignments, any type of online chat participation, and any academic matters pertaining to the course where there's actual an exchange between either the faculty or the students, all pertaining to the academic matters of that particular course. And any initiating contact by the faculty member asking a question about the course content or the material. So the following is an examples of what doesn't include constitute academic engagement. This especially holds true again for those online classes. So there was a question like, in class, does that count physically? Yes, because they're there. They have the opportunity to ask questions and to listen to discussions. Online, they can't simply just log on. They have to actually participate in some sort of discourse online. And participating, if they meet with an advisor or a counselor at the college, that does not constitute academically engaging in that class. Again, it has to be course specific engagement. And if at any time you have a question about policy, feel free to refer to the handbook, where it gives you more detailed information on engagement, and your dean or chair. It is advisable that the academic engagement reporting policy be posted on your syllabus and gone over in class, specifically before these deadlines come. It would be a great idea also to remind the students of that student engagement deadline of September 11th. Different modalities like posting it on Blackboard, class discussion, and syllabi is advisable. So this is the step-by-step process that we go for the academic engagement reporting process. So once the date of for this term is the September 11th passes, so from that date, the student must have participated in the class. Faculty have 2 days, a window of 2 days to report. This window is not for the student. So like I said, it's September 11th. The student starts participating on the 12th. That does not count as engagement. That's simply the time that we are allotting faculty to post their either H for here or N for non-participating. And then those notations go on the midterm grade field. I'm not going to dive on that because, like I said, Michael's going to go over a step-by-step for you. And then once this reporting happens, after that window closes for faculty, we close academic engagement, so there's no longer opportunity to post any engagement. That's why it's important to adhere to that September 11th through September 13th window. September 13th is on a Friday, because after that point it will be closed, so we can actually perform the drop for the students. Because of the magnitude, it does take us a couple days, and we have to get that done prior to census, which is September 18th. Once the students get dropped, they do get notified via email that they were dropped due to lack of participation. And I believe this is time, to hand it over to my colleague Steve, who's going to go over the steps on how to actually report academic engagement.
All right, Steve, you can take it over now.
Thank you. All right, so by now I think you're all familiar with the login screen for MyCT State. So this is what you should see. This is the production version. So you're going to go to the faculty self-service card right here and click on enter grades. But since this is for training purposes, I'm going to go to the test one, which is green. So you won't see that. If you see this, you're in the wrong place. So I'm still going to click on enter grades. If you notice here at the top, it defaults to final grades, but for the NP notation, you want to make sure you're in the midterm grades field. So you're going to click on midterm grades first. You'll still get this listing of courses. You can click on this not started area. It could also say in progress or completed, depending on where you are in the process. All right, if I scroll down here a little bit, I can click on midterm grades, and what I'll do is I'll just go through a few. I'll randomly put some in just so you can see how it works. H. Click the save button. And if you see this says save successful, grading for CRN is still in progress. So that means there's still something to be done. So if you miss a grade, this is what you'll see. Normally when you're complete, it'll be a green completion. So this means that something's still in process. I purposely left this one blank. If I go back, enter H, and now I have the green successful. If I go back, one more time. Midterm grades, I just want to point out it now says completed, but as long as the NP period is still available, you can go back in here and still make changes. Let's say you realize you made a mistake, this student should have been NP'd. As long as the NP period is still open, you can go back, make changes, save, and it'll be all set. That's it.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, Maricel, you should be able to share again now.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so there have been times, and to err is human, that there was a data processing, data entering error. A student was accidentally dropped when they have been actually engaged in the class. The student reaches out to you. You see there was a technical error, and how do we go about rectifying this situation? There is a process where we can reinstate the student. You have to complete a reinstatement request form. Pretty much the faculty member would then reach out to your campus dean where the course is being taken, request, explain it was an issue with an error in reporting, and you complete this form. Once the form is fully completed and has the necessary approvals, it does not go to our staff, it goes to your campus one stop, the campus enrollment supervisor of each campus will then process the reinstatement for you. Again, these are only for accidental NPs, non-participation. If a student reaches out to you, like I said, on September 12th and fills out or promises they're going to do it, it wouldn't constitute that. And we just suggest you indicate the student what the policy is. We're only doing a disservice. Sometimes we do want to help students, and their situation seems, is genuine, but in order for us to be compliant with the state, we must adhere to these guidelines. And so the next slide has the contact for all the campus enrollment supervisors by campus, their email. Again, this slide is going to be made available to you, so no need to jot information down. And then the main email and main number for your enrollment services. So that reinstatement form would go to that office for processing. So here's the timeline. Again, like I said, it's on the PowerPoint, and it's also going to be on your faculty card under important deadlines. As you can see, like I said, September 11th is for the full term, the deadline for students to demonstrate academic engagement. And then that same day, it opens up for you to begin your recording up until the 13th. You will see that the first 7th week courses is much shorter, has an engagement date of September 6th. So for those who are teaching those short 7-week classes, make sure you follow that guideline, and so on and so forth for late start, 2nd week, and so on. Oop. So here's I don't know why it's doing that all of a sudden. I must have had it on auto play. So here's the scenario. Pretty much it's 3 friends or 3 students decided to enroll, and they know each other in the same course, and academic engagement deadline is approaching. Also be mindful that students are sent text and emails, not just emails. They get sent text that the deadline for participation is coming. So they are aware via text that they have to participate by the September 11th for the full term classes. So then here we have, I'm going to read Jane, Mark, and Mary's situation. Jane has been out of the country since the end of August and has not attended class or submitted any assignments. She emailed Professor Sample the 2nd week of class that she would catch up on all participation and assignments when she is back in the country in the middle of September. Mark has been struggling with childcare and has not met the standards for academic engagement as outlined by the policy. He's not attended class or submitted any assignments. He shared his circumstances with his friends, Jane and Mary, but not communicated with his instructor. Mark planned to attend the class mid-September once he has childcare solidified. Now, Mary has attended most of the classes and meetings and submitted 1 of 3 assignments. She has been periodically informing her friends of what's going on in class. Professor Sample marked Mark as an NP as he did not academically engage, but marked Jane and Mary as here. And the question that is posed is, what is the best way to respond to Mark's question, and is there an equity issue here? There's obviously an issue with equity, although Jane has communicated that she anticipates and will make up the work. It's just a communication that she's plans to make up the work, and she hasn't actually participated in our time frame would be on that September 11th deadline. So she should also have been marked as non-participating. So it does become an equity issue that although Mark hasn't communicated, both Jane and Mark have not academically engaged in any course material. What are ways that the campus can ensure the policy is implemented? Adhering to the policy, and even referring the students to review the policy in place for academic engagement. And also remind them that they are getting text messages, they are getting emails, and it's their responsibility to be active in the class. And again, financial implications, I'll leave that question for when we leave it's time to ask questions, in case there's any questions around that. Also a note, NPs get 100% of the fees refunded and only 90% tuition refunded back. So it's important to put in those notations also, so they could also get their refund for the 90% of the fees. 90% tuition, 100% fees. And we can open the floor for any questions. Feel free to put them on the chat.
There haven't been any questions specific to that. Do you
Okay,
want to address overall questions now or wait till the end?
sure.
Okay. So what we've got so far is, what suggestions do you have for getting students to engage in traditional or LRON classes that meet on Mondays and won't meet for the first time until September 9th?
Posting a question, maybe have them read the first chapter and making comments. You could have students even respond to their students, have them post a discussion, post question pertaining to even an overview of the material, and maybe have them respond to another student. That shows academic engagement because it's on course content.
Okay. So for an online class, submission of homework via Blackboard does indicate student engagement.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a specific date that we can begin inputting the H for students that are already active? I'm on the midterm grades page as shown, and there's no pull down for the menu to put in an H or a NP.
So yeah, that will open up on September 11th.
Okay.
Mhm.
If students have attended class but do not submit any assignments, do they get an NP or an H?
If it's an in-person class, they have the opportunity to engage in discussion and the instructor is talking about course material. If it's a physical on-ground class, then that constitutes engagement.
And are syllabus quizzes okay to demonstrate engagement?
If it's pertaining to your course, it is, then yes.
All right, and that's all the questions we have so far.
Awesome.
And I just want to add quickly, because I know the question about someone's trying to enter in their academic engagement. For the first 7-week part of term 7A, those would get turned on a little bit earlier. So those will get
Right.
turned on the 6th, I believe.
Mhm.
But I'll be sending out communication shortly.
Any other questions? We still have a little bit.
Yep, so I don't see any yet, but we'll give people one more minute to type anything in. And if they think of something later, these are the folks that you can contact with additional questions. And oh, let's see. Hi, I believe a bio is also considered engagement. So maybe that's introducing yourself. And then somebody asked if there will be another WebEx. We won't be holding this WebEx again, but it will be available. I'll put the link in the thing again, but ctstate.edu/webinars. And probably by tomorrow, we should have it up there with the PowerPoint presentation. So you can watch a recording of the presentation, share with a friend, have some popcorn, and be up to date. And also, if you aren't sure, if you need a refresher when you're doing it, you can always log right on and go through the step-by-step process again. So looks like that's it for questions. Thank you all for coming out and telling us all about this, and have a great afternoon.
Yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.